So Qualcomm thinks that this year will be the year of 5G, but in the past, with all of these next generation networks, it's been more of a hype cycle. It takes some time for real services, real networks to fall into place and see meaningful growth in phones. What makes you think 5G is going to be different? Like, is 2019 really the year?
Well, 2019 is, I will say, the most important year for 5G. It's the year that we're launching 5G. Like at CES, we just announced that we have over 30 devices launching with 5G in 2019. The absolute majority of it are smartphones. And you have to launch those devices to get the technology, to perform in the field. They had all the learnings, make sure the devices are very competitive. And we always said the fiscal 20 is where it becomes a very significant financial event. But what we see right now with all those launches of 5G in the early part of 19, we can predict that in the second half of this calendar year is that you're starting to see all of the major carriers across all the developed economies really changing their incentive mechanism and their channel towards getting to 5G net adds and start to execute on their business plan. So in the second half of 2019, you're going to start to see 5G ramping.
How worried are you about the impact of the U.S. China trade war on the Chinese consumer and a pullback in general of the Chinese consumer, with a decrease in consumer confidence?
Look, you can look at this in multiple ways. One way to look into this is you have a big transition to 5G, and if you're a customer in China, and if you're an OEM in China, companies like Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, OnePlus, even Huawei, they're looking into this as a growth opportunity, not only within their domestic market to upgrade, but also outside China. And if you're concerned about growth in domestic China, that's where you actually accelerate your efforts to go outside. And I think we've seen this trend within the China, market dynamics. And as we look at the China scale in itself, if you look at China Mobile, they have more subscribers than probably the United States has in population.
Right, it's the biggest smartphone market in the world.
All that it needs is a carrier motivation to upgrade their customers to the next generation of wireless, change the incentive mechanism, and you have a big change in the market. And like I said earlier, we're betting on 5G because every signal we get from China, they're as excited about 5G as the United States is.
Okay, but 5G aside, you're also saying that you don't see a change in the Chinese consumer. You don't see a pullback in the Chinese consumer.
Look, as far as our business is concerned, since we're not really impacted, since we're not part of the new Apple phones, as far as our business, we can't really, we're not in a position right now to be providing financial guidance, but I'll say we're happy with China. China has been a very good story for Qualcomm, and we expect that to continue to be.
So Qualcomm dominates in smartphone components, but you've talked about laptops, you've talked about cars, you've talked about Internet of Things. In which of those categories are you seeing meaningful progress?
Okay, so as we get to CES right here, it's automotive is a big piece of Qualcomm expansion, and that's one of the area we have the most announcements at this show. And I'll say, when we were in January 2018, exactly 1 year ago, we had an automotive pipeline about $3 billion. We're announcing at this show that now, January 2019, that's equal to 5.5. We grew 2.5 billion of our pipeline in the past 12 months. And the announcement we have at CES, we're now taking the same approach we took in mobile to automotive.
Now, Qualcomm hasn't quite put its foot on the gas in the self-driving car space yet. Why is that?
We have been focused initially in the areas that we can bring the biggest impact to our mobile heritage. We focus on connected car, and I will say that virtually every connected car now is using Qualcomm technology. Then we went to the digital cockpit transformation, try to solve a very simple problem. People are driving, they're looking at their smartphone, they shouldn't be doing that. Why not bring all the technology to the cockpit? And you see then us expanding into other areas into the future. We're not making any new product announcements, but I think we are now an automotive supplier, and we're in the automotive industry to stay.
Okay, so you are in the midst of a global patent showdown with Apple. We know that Apple has very deep pockets, can pay the legal bills of their suppliers, which are also in a dispute with Qualcomm as well. You have had big wins in Germany, in China. What makes you think that Qualcomm can prevail?
Look, we had said repeatedly that 2019 we expect this to be resolved one way or the other, and we're starting to see right now the legal milestones that we said we would see it in the beginning of 19, and it's a long process, but as we see those milestones right now, we're confident that 2019 we will get some form of a resolution. At the end of the day, we stand behind the value of our intellectual property. We believe, many of our intellectual property has been fundamental to enable companies to enter into the cell phone market. We having to build, years on R&D. It's important portion of the Qualcomm business model, and we feel very confident, in our ability to be able to prevail with this. And we look at all of the excitement we have in other markets, the excitement about 5G, and with the entire mobile ecosystem, it is proven to be a healthy, element of the market, and we'll continue down that path. We're optimistic about it.